So, no, it's fine. So, this was an idea that kind of mutated and mutated and mutated.
Lori or Tyler,
we talked in a different class about poetic inquiry, and I think that's a really good kind of thing to frame this in. So I have had this idea about trying to take poetry into more three-dimensional stuff, take it off the page and make it, I don't know, playing with sculpture, or in this case, taking the words and kind of making them three-dimensional, and then they can spin and be revealed and cover each other at one point in the cycle, and then so anyway, trying to think about how I would do that, and I had this idea to kind of build like a poetry generating machine. So it started off like with the idea like I would build a box, and then I'd put the words inside and shine a light through it, and then you'd get the shadow. So it's sort of like a little diorama with a thing. And then I thought, well, I'll shine a projector through and make up some kind of animation in Flash, and that will be part of it. And then I thought, well, I've already done Flash. Like I recently did something, and I wanted to have it. I wanted to get completely away from the computer and have something that would stand totally on its own. So, I'm a bit of a backyard, like they call it, shade tree mechanic. So I had this idea for like a complicated serpentine belt. So this would be like what's on the front of your car, and as it turns, it will spin each of the cams. So then I thought, if I make the cams a different size, a larger cam will spin once, and in the same cycle, the smaller cam will spin twice. So that puts in a whole element of randomness to it, because the words will sort of, sometimes they'll coincide and other times they won't. So you'll get this, I don't know, different frequencies for different words. So that was sort of part of it, and then I thought, well, how am I going to work with that? So I'm renovating my house, and I've just changed like the fan above my stove. So I ripped that apart, took the motor out of it, and I had to figure out a way to control the speed of it. So then I thought I'll use like a basic rheostat, so Home Depot, like dimmer switch, electrical. Got that sorted out. I had trouble thinking of what I would use for a belt, so I just used 2 layers of electrical tape. It's kind of stretchy and has a bit of give in it. And then, okay, so I get all the basic structure together, and that's when you really start to figure out what the constraints are with what, so coming back to this idea of constraint, I had, to try to save myself some time, I went to Michael's and got a little bit crafty and got some stickers. So the process was to, so there's a constraint already, because I only have 4 examples of each letter. So then I have to figure out how I'm going to make the words. So in here, and this is like, it's a constant like problem solving, right? So as these spin, like the words spin around, right? So there's like words in the back, they all spin around. So then the other constraint is like a spatial constraint that I didn't even know existed until I built the thing, because with all these posts here, you've created like this total spatial constraint. So the first thing you realize is, oh crap, this word hits the other word when it rotates. So now you're playing really in 3 dimensions, right? Because you've got what you're trying to achieve in 3 dimensions, but it's still going to be projected onto 2 dimensions. So you need to adjust heights to stop interference, and you need to like decrease the diameter of the word as it rotates through 360 degrees. So all these like typographic and font issues that don't even exist in 2 dimensions are suddenly created, and you're like, oh, what the hell? So then you kind of get it together a bit, and then I originally had them hanging from pieces of clipped wire, and then too much tension on the belt was like, so I had engineering issues, and then finally what I realized, and that's why it's not going to exactly be a stunning display at this point, is my poetic inquiry forced me to learn about lighting and optics, because it's not as simple as putting a light and then getting a shadow, because the light reflects off the inside of the box. So think of it like you have a shadow here, and the light will hit it, but there's also other light that will bounce off the side and illuminate and take the shadow away. So then, all of this work, right? The only words that really sort of appear are at the front. So I really needed like a more focused light source. So I started researching Fresnel lenses, and I figured out that they actually make a simple Fresnel lens that you can put over, for old people, over a book, and it will magnify the page. It's made from acrylic. So another few days, and like I could have a nice Fresnel lens here and here. So I'll show you what I have. And the other thing is using wood was kind of a tough choice, because like it looks great, it works, it functions, but the motor doesn't have enough torque to overcome the initial friction. And then efforts to I don't know, lubricate the apparatus, really hard when it's all put together. So now it needs to be like disassembled and greased, and maybe throw some bearings in there. I don't know,
yeah.
Prototype.
Yeah,
it's prototype. So this is what it looks like now. And then I grabbed a projector from CMS. So yeah, like it's really underwhelming. Okay.
My mind is blown.
You're not getting much.
Yeah.
My cord is a little short here. But
Go for machine.
Do you sleep?
You said I'm a robot.
Don't you have a baby to take care of?
here's the thing, right? When this was all...
How do you have, and build a machine? You're enrolling my mom machine this year.
The baby sleeps in
I
this.
started, yeah, that's how I'm teaching him. But I started thinking in terms of my child in a way, because when you first get language, like it is kind of blurry out of focus, they can't even really see, and then the learning of language and even of speaking is kind of like this machine. Like it's, a baby will make random sounds, and then they get reinforcement. Like, oh, that's it, dada, yeah, not like doo-doo. They need reinforcement for saying that. When they say dada, everyone pats them on the back. And the way things will kind of appear here, we have that same kind of thing. Like it's, oh, nothing, nothing, oh, there's a word, or there's a combination of words, and it will kind of be random like that. We'll have these moments of recognition as it kind of starts to come together.
But seriously though, do you sleep?
Well, this is like my old, it's really felt like going back to my old job, like as a production designer and having to build stuff for nothing ever like this, but it's really freeing to kind of, well, I'm just going to build whatever I want now, you know?
That's amazing.
We're impressed.
So when it throws some images, I'll post those. I need to like,
Totally
it
amazing.
needs a few more hours of work.
What about painting the insides of
reduce the.
It's probably a really good idea.
That's how a camera obscura works. So it reduces the reflection off the sides,
Okay.
making the inside black, and then you just get the reflection of the black.
I was going to experiment with going to some like possibly trying a sealed beam headlight, something that's really linear in focus, or yeah, like using like the way an overhead projector works is it has a flat Fresnel lens in it. So all that does is it lines up all the beams of light so you don't get that side reflection. But painting the inside black, yeah.